I thought this would be a good idea because I've been considering getting into Warhammer. I feel like it'd be fun, you know? I feel like it'd be fun. A lot of the other girls have been really enjoying like the Warhammer rabbit hole. So I also am interested in checking it out, which is part of why I wanted to react to this one. So, today we will be reacting to what is Warhammer 40k? Timeline of 40k lore by Bricky. This video has been watched already by many Glitch Stars talents, but that's my turn because I want to watch it. Begin.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs.
Yippee! I love those.
What those abs taste like.
Crazy statement, but true. Oh my god. Jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. I'm not gonna get banned, right? YouTube won't snipe me for this, right?
My gamer
I mean, if it's in his video, I'm not gonna get swiped.
Is here.
Sniped, rather.
Sweet
It's his.
has arrived. A delicious
It's his
and refreshing
flavor.
cherry
That's powerful,
pineapple
actually.
blend. Play the sound.
That's powerful, actually. I should probably skip the ad. I probably do need to skip the ad, but that is funny.
These tubs, regular
that is very funny. I just cannot watch it because it is an ad.
Age of Darkness.
Oh wait, hold on. I skipped too far. I skipped too far. Go back. Run it back. Okay, here we go. Bricky, if you're seeing this, send me your women flavor.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
Darkness. Gotta love an age of darkness, you know? You gotta love an age of darkness.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necrontyr, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necrontyr gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly,
there's so many names. I'm gonna remember maybe one of those at best.
While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat, a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet, the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters. Areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things
sorry to these hell gods. Their names are objectively very funny, right?
Open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods.
Like, their names are funny, right?
Exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up mentally. So, yeah, they got silly names. They do have very silly names. Okay, I'm catching up mentally. So, the warp is hell, but not hell, but there's the realms of chaos, which are in the warp? I don't know if I got that correct. The realms of so the realms of chaos are like hell, but the warp is hell, but just in the sense that like when you die, you go there. But it's not like evil, but the realms of chaos are evil? The warp is like an alternate dimension. Okay, but it's like hell, but like not objectively evil hell, just like the afterlife. But the realms of okay, what's the realms of chaos then? I think my brain is not wrapping around that well enough. Is that did I miss, is it in the warp, or is that like a separate thing? Realms of chaos are like a bad neighborhood in the warp. Okay, got it. And also, sorry to the gods, their names are funny. They have funny little names. Imagine rocking up to hell and this man's name is Korn. You rock up to hell and this man's name is Nurgle. Sorry to Nurgle, that's not an intimidating name, I fear. Okay, let's continue.
Gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
Oh, that's fun.
God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created.
These star gods saw
that
the
line came from a Tumblr
of our
post.
poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure.
Okay.
So then they ate all their souls.
You know what? Fair.
And turned
what if
them
they're just
into
hungry?
robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power
if
of
I
an
was hungry,
entire
I would
species' souls, they turned their new
Elbozo,
robotic
exactly.
slaves
Elbozo.
on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
Okay, so Necron tier and Necrons are the same thing, but later.
On an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this,
snacks.
The leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that
Pokemon!
It's the Void Dragon!
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp
again, what if they're just
gets
hungry?
a little wacky, you know?
Oh yeah, the
if you
warp.
had
We
a
did just
kiddie
address
pool,
that.
and it was nice and calm. Korn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And
I'm sure they're
turns
fine.
out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Korn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Korn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change,
he's also got
a little
teeth in
more
random
powerful.
places.
And good
Me
God,
too, King.
a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now,
I also
entering
have
that kiddie
teeth in
pool
places
is no
teeth
longer
shouldn't
fun,
be.
it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy
than
a
it's all
species that won't need to deal with that?
The Age of Eldar.
The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones,
the
as
sobbing
I
and crying. I love sobbing and crying.
And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the orcs, but they're busy right now. The Eldar are a particularly
I just hurt my head doing that.
Race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is
that's
basically
a fun character
like
design.
being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue, but Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's
actually the perfect analogy for me specifically to understand
much
this.
Like in the nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts, a fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century. That's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Human.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here, and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th month.
See, I don't know, I need to pause because I don't want to yap over too much, but there seems to be like a lot of like, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but there seem to be like some, like Greek and Roman mythology influences in the Warhammer lore. Like between, I believe Terra was the Roman name for Gaia? I don't know if I'm correct on that. Maybe I'm getting my mythologies wrong, but I think Terra is something. Terra is like a goddess name, I believe. And there was before with the whole, you know, like the concept of, you know, taking the former gods and ripping them into several pieces is very Chronos, you know? I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. That's accurate. 40k borrows from like everything. Okay, good. Yeah. I thought so. My 14-year-old me's Percy Jackson and then immediately following just regular mythology phase is always coming back to help me in referential situations. I'm so good at talking.
Millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic.
Yeah,
Then came
classic.
the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some,
Yeah.
the dark age of technology.
Oh.
This is when humanity reached a new
Again, gotta love a
apex
good
of
dark age.
technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the
I'm one of
genetic
those.
mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts
I
of
was
the galaxy
admiring how
were
nice
reaching
the
new levels of
spaceship art
technology
is.
and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
Debauchery!
Gasp! Debauchery!
what happens
Jump scare.
when a species has everything. You can produce
Bad
unlimited
things.
food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves, remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's
getting
not
silly
forget
with
a
it.
very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder
So much
is
worse than a god
commonplace
complex?
and
Oh.
often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain
I'm
is
seeing
a
that now,
common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar
So maybe
saw
they
the
didn't get
writing
silly
on the
with
wall,
it.
saw what was
like the
happening to their
Satan
species
complex.
and how
Yeah.
far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire,
that's fun, though.
seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers.
Listen, I know they're doing the horrors. Spaceship the size of a continent is objectively really cool. Listen, I know they've developed a Satan complex. I know they're doing horrible crimes. Spaceship's cool though. We gotta admit, the spaceship rocks. The spaceship kind of rocks, you know? We don't forgive their crimes. The spaceship rocks.
Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was
warp.
fed.
Oh, it's because they didn't want to take part. Okay, I missed that. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, in that case, we do rock with the spaceship. We do rock with them. We do rock with the spaceship Eldar, because they didn't want to take part in the evil. You know what? We take what we can get. We take what wins we can get. They don't partake in the evil, and they have a cool spaceship. That's all I need to know.
By these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slaanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that
We just
fled
getting hungry
were
again.
spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new
Damn, rip.
fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now,
that's less fun.
Planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh,
yeah.
And because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they
because the warp's cut off.
kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars,
robots
after
is a cool aesthetic.
radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth...
Okay, again, I don't know if they're doing horrors. I don't know if they're doing the evils. Tech Priests of Mars? Cool as hell name. Right? That's an awesome name, right? I don't know what evil they get up to or if they get up to evil or anything, but Tech Priests of Mars, that's awesome. That's cool. That's such a cool concept. That's so fun. That's awesome. Warhammer has such a cool aesthetic. They do. This looks so fun. Listen, I talk about Doctor Who a lot on stream. I love space junk. I really do. I love sci-fi nonsense. It's so delightful. I love it.
Or Terra. Techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore. Until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner.
I know that name. I know
blood.
Space
Then,
Marines,
after
kind
taking
of.
over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first,
I don't think I rock with this
the
guy.
Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them, 18 of them, I meant, gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size, a real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy that's like throwing the baby like a basketball? It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervene.
Speaking of that meme, have you ever seen the quote-unquote outtake of of the Lion King where he throws Simba off the off the cliff at the beginning. Have you seen that? Is that just something? Is that, I don't know. I reference a lot of like things and I never know if I'm saying something obscure or something that everyone knows or something that I just think everyone knows that I've decided somehow mentally. Okay, yeah, okay, good. You've seen it. Good, excellent. Yeah, that's the mental image I think about when I see that meme.
And grabs the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go.
Bye.
A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade, a crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus, one of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with
Horus.
him.
That's Egyptian mythology, no? Horus is hold on. I'm trying to remember my mythologies. Horus is with Egyptian mythology. I forget the significance, but Horus is Egyptian mythology. God of Death? Is that the God of Death? Oh, my Egyptian mythology knowledge is rusty. That's one of the ones I know less about. But yeah, Horus, okay, so there is like a bunch of mythological influence. Horus, sun god? Is that the sun god? Oh, I'm so rusty on it. I know Horus is like eagles, I think, or some like bird significance. I'm rusty. That's Anubis? Yeah, Anubis is the sun god. No, Anubis is the death god. Yeah, Anubis is the death god. He's a falcon sun god. Yeah, falcon. That's the one. Yeah, okay, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, okay, so there's a bunch of like, yeah, there is a bunch of mythological influence in this. This is fun. Yeah, Horus is sky god. Yeah, because the bird thing. Horus is like the son of Ra, I think. Yeah, there's, okay, yeah, my Egyptian mythology knowledge is so rusty. It's so rusty. I need to get back into my readings.
A legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines.
Oh, yeah, I know
For
these
Horus,
guys.
His were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his
I know
great
the name Space
crusade,
Marine.
he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel
Space
Dorn,
Wolves.
the Phalanx with the Imperial
Rogel Dorn is a
Fists.
funny name.
Angron, the barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters.
World
Fulgrim,
Eaters is cool
the
also.
perfect with his Emperor's children. And Jagatai Khan, the swift, the stoic, and his white scars. Those
Hell
were
yeah.
just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years
Listen,
of
I
the
don't think I rock with
31st
the
millennia,
Crusaders. I'm sorry. I don't know if I do.
would break this all apart.
Horus heresy.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named
did he do?
War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues. All
Yeah, I
because
thought
of that
so.
bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal
a
moment in
crusader.
our
What do you
story,
expect,
and
you
the
know?
one that has like 50 books written about it,
Oh.
the Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was
they're
working on a
Crusaders. That's what
special
Crusaders
webway
do.
project, just like the Eldar, to make
Crusades
faster than
were all
light
just
travel
betrayal.
significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. Literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
Rip.
I'm sure
Rip
you've
to that
seen this
guy.
image at some point. The Emperor then said,
Rip to that
"I'm
guy.
not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Horribly
that guy.
wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 psychers every single day.
What I'm learning about Warhammer lore is that a lot of stuff happens just because some guy got hungry for souls. Why are they all so hungry? Why are they all so hungry all the time? They just wanna eat. They're just, give them snacks. That'd solve so many of these issues. But like, preferably not people snacks, you know? Stop feeding them souls. Just get them really into like a good charcuterie.
This was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day.
Oh my god, 40k, roll credits.
40,000.
Yeah. Yippee, roll credits.
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer. The newest Tyranid threat from the darkness between galaxies.
Okay, I feel like we jumped over that real quick. The reawakening of the what now? Who's waking up? Okay, what happened to them? How'd they get back up? How are they reawakening?
That has arrived to feast on their worlds.
Yum, yum, yum. Again, snack time. They're all
theme
hungry.
Of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be
Yeah, no, I remember who the Necrons are. How did they wake back up again? That's kind of my bigger question. Like, I remember them. Why are they awake again? Why are they back? Yeah, why'd they wake up from nap? They just kind of did. You know what? Valid.
crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up
Couldn't
that
be me when I play a bad guy, I feel bad inside.
You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Damn. 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 That's cool. That's cool. Warhammer looks cool. Yeah, I want to play it. I want to play it. Problem is, it's a bunch of video games, and I don't know which one to start with. I know it's mostly tabletop, but I wouldn't know how to stream tabletop. Yippee! Or maybe not yippee. Horrible things happen, but you know, yippee!
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghosts, and Infinite and the Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a gamer sub.
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks, Bricky. Thanks, Bricky. Nice pause. This is a screenshot and a half, isn't it?